Boy, oh boy, am I excited for this one. I mean, two bangers in a row? Who would have seen that? Monsters Inc. is one of the most creative movies I have ever seen to come out of Pixar. And after this latest rewatch, it is still a masterpiece so many years later. First off, let me start by saying that the idea of seeing the life of a monster is such a genius idea on Pixar's part. Of course, this was due to the limitations on the animation at that time, but for 2001 standards, this was some genius stuff. The creative designs and personalities of all these monsters really shine through, especially with our two main characters, Mike and Sully, and this film's villain, Randall. We even get to see their day-to-day job at the location they work at, to which the film is named after, of course. Seeing these monsters walk through their doors and scaring these kids is some really cool stuff here. And while on the topic of designs, the animation has, once again, stepped up a notch. Granted, we're not at beautiful sceneries just yet, we're years off of it at this point, but the quality boost here really brings this film up a notch. All the sceneries of Monstropolis is some really cool stuff for a Pixar film, especially this one shot of the main building itself. Really groundbreaking stuff. And the music is really well done. One of the best scores I've seen from a film. Randy Newman once again outdoes himself here. And If I Didn't Have You is such a sweet song, showing the best friendship Mike and Sully have together. Something that really took me by surprise on this rewatch though, was how genuinely funny this film is. This is one of the most funniest movies I have ever seen, and the humor here is top notch. There's no like toilet humor just for the sake of laughs at all here like many films would do later on, although there is one here which is actually pretty funny. No, there's humor sprinkled throughout a vast majority of this film. All of the hijinks with Sully and Boo when they first meet, and all of the stuff with Mike are very funny, and charming in the latter's case. Especially for his love for Celia. Even when Boo's about it, when Celia is, well, kinda mad, he still cares about her, which is neat. And the story is really well done. The plot starts off with the day-to-day life of Mike and Sully, to then Sully finding out that there's a door, which leads to Boo escaping and breaking headlines. And all throughout this movie, Mike and Sully trying to get Boo home without Randall getting a hold of her. This plot is well structured. It's cool having seen what Mike and Sully get up to in their day-to-day life, to then all that going a bit rocky when Boo comes into the picture, and worrying that the company is in danger of shutting down. All of some humor sprinkled in across a vast majority of this movie. And there was some moments in it that are just either funny, like I said a billion times, or just straight up sad or serious. One of those being the sequence when Sully plays with Boo in the bathroom. It's funny and cute at the same time. And all the gags with Mike is funny too, especially with his ever so iconic scream that I just burst out laughing whenever I hear it. Mr. Waternoose as well made for an interesting and unexpected twist villain. This was of course before all of those tired and boring twist villains we see nowadays from Disney, and I think he is one of the better ones. He is at first a nice guy and cares for his company deeply, but only once discovering what Mike and Sully are trying to do with Boo, what we're trying to get her back home and everything, he turns on them and helps Randall. And it's so tense and kinda insane trying to chase Sully down, the one scarer he looked down upon for years. And God, the scene where Boo and Sully say goodbye to each other at the end is just so damn wholesome. And also sad too. Oh, and about Boo. Boo is one of the cutest characters ever to come out of Pixar. She's Nemo before Nemo basically. And it's funny because Nemo does make a cameo, albeit as a plush, at the end when she gives Sully some of her toys. I love her dynamics with Sully, even if she doesn't talk as much, and her giving him the nickname Kitty was so sweet and funny. By the way, during my rewatch of this, I thought to myself, what if Boo was Cleo, but younger? But then I was like, nah, Pixar wouldn't do shit like that. H2O wasn't even conceited yet. Well, until the year it came out, of course. But, I don't know. That would make for a very interesting Pixar theory. Maybe I'll have to talk to the Thomas theorist on that. Who knows? So yeah, if you couldn't already tell, Monsters Inc. is another phenomenal movie that I would not change a thing about. This is the definition of classic Pixar right now. Although, it just barely misses out on topping Toy Story 2. But even with that, I would still highly recommend this film if you haven't seen it yet. And honestly, the fact that the aforementioned Toy Story 2 goes into this film is more of a statement than anything. It's like when in Mario Kart 7's Banana Cup when they decided to put Coconut Mall and Waluigi Pinball back to back in the same cup. I get the same feeling here, and trust me, we'll be seeing something similar to this later on down the road. But as for tomorrow, speaking of water-related stuff, we will be diving into what may be the most fascinating thing I will ever be facing in this marathon. Because after spending what feels like years of devoting a lot to the trio from this very movie, it's going to be interesting to see how my opinions will be now that I've done said thing. Of course, I'm going to think it's great, but we'll see what will happen tomorrow.